836. Long Beach State plus 17 in multiple accounts. On Long Beach State plus 17. 758. Monmouth plus the 4. 789. South Dakota State plus the 3.5. 824. Cal State Bakersfield minus the 3. 821. Sacramento State plus the 12. 813. Idaho plus the 3.5. 816. Denver plus the 5. Couple totals for you. 749. Oh, also 749 Stony Brook plus the 16 in that same game. Over 145.5. Over 146. 842 under 142.5. Seattle Grand Canyon 787 over 145. Liberty Kennesaw State 829 over 143.5. Portland Loyola Marymount, and I'll give you 803 over 154. Illinois Nebraska. That's what we got already in college basketball, and rest assured, they will be firing throughout the later afternoon once the public starts getting involved and they knock some of these lines out of whack, offer us a little more value. So that's what we got in college basketball. Real quickly, Orlando minus the 4.5 in the NBA. And in NHL, which hasn't been doing very well, I haven't been piggybacking it for subscribers, but they are on Game 2, Ottawa minus the 105. If you ever come in on a hockey that we've confirmed, it's hit. So I wait to hear anything like that from someone that actually follows the sport a lot more than I do. So if I ever see confirmation from some of the guys I respect in hockey, that's the time I fire.
Big question here leading into this fight. Everyone's asking, is Adesanya washed? Is he done? Is this the decline of Israel? Now, he is 1-3 out of his last 4, and you can give him a little respect on it because he lost to current or former champions there, Alex Pereira, Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis, which Dricus was a 5% client play winner at plus 120. But now he's 35 years old. He's taken a lot of damage over the years, a lot of wear and tear. He's had combat sports and kickboxing, now MMA, a long, long career here. Now you're looking at stylistically, really, overall, what Adesanya are we going to get? Normally, he's a guy that's going to be creating space, working at distance, mixing up targets on the body, great distance management. But there's 2 big issues for me here on the Adesanya side. And I think the first one's going to be the killer instinct. You know, he used to be a guy who's going for the kill. He had great combinations and he would go for it. Now it's at the point really where he kind of seems like that's taken a tick down, even against Strickland. Strickland threw basically a 1-2 combination, moved forward, and that was it. And he was able to drop Adesanya. Strickland doesn't drop anybody. And it was normally a guy Adesanya should be able to beat. And then even after that, the other part of this is the cardio and the gas tank. You know, it doesn't look that good. Again, against Strickland, he was getting smothered. He had no answers. He was wilting later in that fight. Same thing against Dricus. He was wilting as the fight was going on and even kind of gave up a little bit at the end of it. And then he just took his back, got the submission. But now you've got Nasruddin Imavov, who's a guy that can dictate the pace a little bit, who's going to come forward, you know, is a guy that also is going to bring the pressure. He's going to look to move forward. He can keep Israel on that back foot, going to make it a little bit more tougher. And also the fact that he can mix in takedowns. Now, you know, even with Imavov, you know, the V being the last name, you know, he's not going to dive at legs for 5 rounds, but I do think he can mix it in, and the upside of the finish is going to be more on Imavov. I think he's the more dangerous guy. So in this spot here, I got to go Nasruddin Imavov. I think that the line is good at plus 140, and I think this could be the end of Adesanya, but we shall see on Saturday. We have Shara Magomedov minus 180. On the comeback here, you've got Michael Page plus 155. Now, this should be a great striking matchup here. Both these guys are going to keep it on the feet, and they're going to want to throw down. Now, you've got Shara on the one side here, 15-0, good striker, a lot of flashy stuff that he does throw. And, you know, he can mix up combinations, you know, at times can throw some powerful shots. But the big red flag, not the fact that he just has one eye, but the big red flag is really going to be the fact that, you know, he's a type of guy that just is wild. You know, he just can throw combinations out of position. He's winging combinations. This is a guy that can be countered, open for those counters. And, you know, he's got a 42% striking defense, not very good, very hittable in the pocket here. And now he's about to face a guy who is a step up in competition in Michael Page. Shara has fought really low-level guys overall, a lot of bums. And now you've got, you know, Page, who is very calculated, who's, you know, got great timing, faster hands, And the biggest thing really with Michael Page is his unorthodox style. He's a guy that has a different type of movement, hard for fighters to really get a beat on him. And he can be low volume at times, but he's a guy that definitely makes it difficult for fighters. He's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage. And mostly I was impressed with his last two fights, first two fights in the UFC. First, he fought Kevin Holland. Now, say what you will of Kevin Holland. He's got terrible, takedowns and all those other things on the grappling side. But striking is good. He's long, he's rangy. And it was a good fight between these two guys. I thought they, really had a good fight. And then you have Page getting the win. Most recently, he fought Ian Gary. Ian Gary's a high-level fighter, great distance management of his own. And it was a very close fight. He frustrated Ian early in that fight. Really, the way that Gary got the win was takedowns. He was able to secure 2 takedowns, 8 minutes of control time. Even though strikes landed was 21-19 for Page in that fight, you did get Ian Gary the win. But overall, I got to go Page here. I know the V. I know we're talking about Perez. I'm going against the V here. But I just think he is way better than Shara. And unless there's going to be some iffy scorecards, I do like that plus money on Page.
Here is a college basketball play that is going out to my clients that I am personally betting. And it is Montana -3.5 against Portland State. This Montana team has owned Portland State, and I don't see why anything changes tonight, guys. The last time these two teams met, Montana beat them by 9. Montana is now 10-1 at home this season, and the Portland State team have struggled on the road. So we got a really good home team, a shitty road team. We have a matchup that favors Montana State, and we have a short number. Take not Montana State, Montana. Take Montana -3.5 versus Portland State. The one thing that has been going really great for me in college hoops is my totals. And I got a total for you guys over 154.5 in the South Dakota State and North Dakota State game. So South Dakota and North Dakota, two places that you can find in Dakota, are playing against each other, and I like the over. And we're getting great value on this number, and I know it's like great value on over 154.5. Yeah, great freaking value. The Jackrabbits have found themselves playing to a few unders lately because they've played some really slow-paced teams. But, man, the Rabbits are not a slow-paced team, and they are looking to play to the over. Now they take on the Bison, who have scored below 85 points in Summit play only once. Only once! I don't expect this to be a slow game. I think we're going to see a ton of speed in this game. I think this number should have been somewhere around 158. There's a shit ton of value at 154.5. I like this bet all the way up to 156. Take over the total in South Dakota State and North Dakota State.
Yeah, we're going Samaje Perine over 6.5 receiving yards. It's a gift that keeps on giving. He has gone over this in 16 out of 19 games this season. He's gone over in 14 out of the last 15 games, which is insane. The Eagles give up 34 yards receiving to running backs. That's 19th in the league this season. And this number is down from last week. It was 8.5 last week. And what did we see from the Kansas City Chiefs? They always have this designed play to Perine coming out of the backfield, and it's always in a really big situation. A 3rd and 8, a game to ice the game. It took forever to get the over last week, but when it came down to it, they had that play in their back pocket. They used it, and he is dynamite out of the backfield. Very sure-handed. He doesn't drop it. And in a game that I think is going to be really, really close, you're going to need these short plays to convert the big 3rd down, to convert the big 4th down. And Andy Reid and Mahomes are so good at drawing up these plays. You only need one. He's been doing it all season. Again, cashes in 14 out of the last 15 games. Just rinse and repeat with Samaje Perine. And he's probably only going to have one catch, but it's going to be like one catch for 13 yards on like 3rd and 7. One of those types of things. So I'll just keep playing Samaje Perine over his receiving yards. Yeah, Darius Garland will take over 2.5 made threes. He did not play last night, so he's rested. Guy's been shooting a lot, and he's been shooting it accurate. He's gone over in the last 5 games, 3, 3, 4, 4, and 3 in the last 5 games. He's averaging 8 3-point attempts in those games. He gets a really good matchup against a Hawks team that they're just injuries, and their season has started to really fall off the rails. So I think this is a really good spot, despite the fact that Cleveland's on a back-to-back. Here's the other nice thing. He's shooting 43% from threes this year, but he's shooting 48% from threes at home. He's gone over in 11 out of the last 12 home games. So I like Garland, well-rested, to have a nice game tonight. Take his over 3-pointers. Canadians can go on some pretty bad scoring droughts, so we'll take Mike Matheson under half a point here. He has one game with a point in the last 11. He's only averaging 2 shots on goal. The Canadians have only scored 6 goals total in their last 3 games. They get a Minnesota Wild team that's playing pretty good defense last couple games, as you know. Allowed 3 goals total in their last 2 games. I think they only allowed 1 to your Maple Leafs. And the big thing, Matheson's not on the first power play line. So anytime we get these guys at reasonable price that are not on the very first power play line, that's very, very limited opportunities to score. So pretty good juice. I think I may play this one for the next few games. He's on a cold streak. Canadians not putting up a ton of goals. This is a pretty good matchup. So take the under on Matheson tonight.